sudi, pjevat ćemo ljudi. Ne boj se rogova ni lažnih bogova, šta nam mogu lanjski snjegovi. Ne boj se tragova ričućih labova, šta će crni oblak planini. Kad zapjevam partija mi sudi, neka sudi, pjevat ćemo ljudi. Ne boj se rogova ni lažnih bogova, šta nam mogu lanjski snjegovi. Ne boj se tragova ričućih labova, šta će crni oblak planini. Kad zapjevam partija mi sudi, neka sudi, pjevat ćemo ljudi. Ne boj se rogova ni lažnih bogova, šta nam mogu lanjski snjegovi.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to episode 7 of PodroomTV. Now, we are very hopeful that the audio is coming through. We're just going to give it a second or two. Seems to be working.
Oh my God.
It seems to be working. We've double tested.
Hallelujah. 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 Okay.
Welcome. One more episode in, who knows, many more to come, or we may be cancelled after tonight's show. Who knows? Nikat Senesna. We're still waiting on the court case to be brought forward from episode 1. But, you keep watching. It's very encouraging. I was out at Dinamo yesterday morning for the Velika Gospa procession that moved from St. Albans Dinamo to Sunshine Church, and there was plenty of folk there and quite sane, intelligent-looking people who said that they watched all 4 hours and 37 minutes of episode 4, I think it was, to the end, to the very end. They struggled to get up for work for the next day, but people jumped on board, listened, were amused, were entertained. That's what we're here to do. So I can hear the audio in the background. That's fantastic. But Spolge, welcome. Another episode.
Yeah, I'm very concerned about all these people who watched all 4 hours and 37 minutes of that. Look, there are some really good doctors out there in Melbourne. You can maybe look or beyond as well. But no. Thank you for tuning in. Like, it is like the amount of positive feedback that we've had and people come and talk to us. It's really encouraging. I love it. Like, thank you for tuning in. Like, we're just doing what we'd normally do anyway, and just talk shit about whatever we talk about, and hopefully it's relevant. And obviously it's relevant to some of you, and we really appreciate you tuning in. But
what a weekend. It's been another massive weekend again across the community. Obviously, the biggest thing going around was the Velika Gospa festivities across the country. No doubt there were processions everywhere, but I was there yesterday morning, albeit for this junior soccer, to watch some soccer matches at 9 o'clock, 11 o'clock, etc. But a large throng of people gathered at Dinamo and made their way along Sunshine Avenue and through the back way along the ring road. Plenty turned up. I think Gospa came at about 8:30, the actual statue itself, and then they made way towards Sunshine at about 9:30. So there was breakfast on, people having a couple of early morning drinks, as we do, coffees and raki and whatever else. So it was fantastic. It was a great display of faith, of culture, of colour. There was plenty of flags. There was all sorts of organisations involved, and it was great to see. So well done to everyone involved. It was an absolutely beautiful day. The weather held up. I think it didn't rain too much, if at all, during the walk itself, which took a couple of hours at least. but the church was full. And I know that while I was still there in the morning, they said 550 tickets had already been pre-sold for lunch. Plus the walk-ins, I reckon there would have been well over 600-700 people.
There were 700 people there, yeah. And they said, I think there was in excess of 300 people that were part of the procession that walked over there. Church was overflowing. People, like when I rocked up there, people were just...
The foyer, the area was full as well.
Absolutely.
My daughter went as well, and she was absolutely blown away by all of it. And there is a renaissance in our religious activity here in Melbourne and across the country. And in saying that, we did receive a message from Josip Zilic. Many of you know he used to be the head chief of the altar boys at Clifton Hill Church back in the day. He flicked through a message advising us of the Australian Catholic Youth Festival, which will be taking place in Melbourne this year. And the information may be a little bit small to read, but I'll tell you what is happening. So starting on Sunday, the 30th of November in the afternoon, and we'll finish on Tuesday, the 2nd of December in the evening, and it will be taking place at the Melbourne Convention and Exhibition Centre. So it's located right in the centre of Melbourne, and the festival, like I said, will begin on the 30th of November, go through for a couple of days. So for all the youth, there's probably already plenty being planned from our community, and no doubt Bianca Jovica, who was a guest a number of weeks ago, and the crew there at Sunshine, and hopefully Clifton Hill, Springvale, Geelong, and all across Australia. If they're able to make it down to Melbourne, by all means, head down. But other news, we have got the Warrior Cup. So the 2025 North Geelong Croatia Warrior Cup six-a-side tournament. Just having a look, Sunday, 26th of October at Alco Park. So it was a pretty pumping place on Saturday there. North Geelong took on Westgate Sinjalic in a pumping 2-2 draw. They had the ladies' lunch there, and it looked like a pretty decent crowd. And I think this weekend...
Yeah, massive day, actually. Soccer all day. Sees kick off at 3 p.m. this weekend. Promotion parties, what they're looking at. There's lambs and pig on the spit, meals available all day. Only need 1 point to secure the championship, but we're going all out for the win. It's going to be a huge day, so get behind the boys and help us finish the season in style. So
a big day at North Geelong this weekend, and then also on the 26th of October, you can see their six-a-side tournament, $500 entry. There'll be an Opens, a Masters 35s, and a women's competition. Major cash prizes for all winners and a trophy. 10 a.m. kickoff, food and drinks, kids' activities, etc. And the after party featuring Harmonikashi, Sam, and Tomislav. So a big day in October, but just as big this weekend. I think a point is enough to secure them first place. Yep. They're promoted already, but getting that extra point will get them over the line to win the league and go back into VPL.
And be playing the derby games against the Knights.
That is the one.
Yeah. But it was a massive weekend. Yesterday was a massive... One of the highlights, I think, about yesterday in the Velika Gorspa thing at Sunshine was, without any advertising, without much hoo-ha, 700 people rock up, the church is overflowing, over 300 people in the part of the procession, and it's just happening like it's just any other day of the week. It's not like something they start crowing about and saying, wow, there's 700 people. It's like, yeah, okay, another one, 700 people. You know, sort of coming out and doing their thing, feeding everyone there, working all day. You know, it's the essence of community. It's the epitome of a community, and it's wonderful to see. And
collaboration. I saw kids there. There was groups of kids in Melbourne Knights tracksuits, kids in Dinamo tracksuits, kids in their various Mladi Hrvati, Zora, Lado, etc., in their gear, kitted out to show their pride in attending this particular event as well. But in other news, this weekend, I believe it is August the 23rd, we've got our very own Phil Vulic taking on. Now, this guy that's on the poster, I think I heard yesterday that the guy he was supposed to fight has pulled out, apparently, and he's been replaced with somebody else. But he's fighting for a title, and that will be at the Pavilion, the Melbourne Pavilion, this Saturday. I think it's Saturday, or just double check that, August the 23rd. Jump online and find out there. But it is a title fight. But also from Tanya Polagubic, who was another guest of ours a couple of weeks ago, sent through some information about a rowing competition that will be taking place in Canberra. You can see the Golden Oar, Canberra's newest and most exciting rowing spectacle, will welcome global rowing royalty on the 1st and 2nd of November 2025. Croatian legends Martin and Valent Sinkovic make their debut on Australian waters. So these guys have won gold medals in World Championships, Olympics, absolutely everything. Yes, they are the brothers, the Sinkovic brothers, but you know what? They're imposters, because there's only two Sinkovic brothers that we've got here. On the left, you've got Dean, and on the right, you've got Steve, the real Sinkovic brothers. Now, they're not particularly as athletic as those two gentlemen we saw earlier, but they are very successful men in their own right. And I think they even run their own TV show. They've got a simulated racing show on TV. I think it's still on Channel 31 or
Really?
podcast or something like that. Yeah, so former
This is the
split,
first time I've heard about this.
long time split players. And Steve also there on the right, the taller one, was president for a very long time.
Years. Yep.
Many years. But tonight, we will be giving away a prize courtesy of, let me just get the exact wording.
What you say about Phil Vulic is fighting for that title. I know every time that I fight, my missus at home, we're always fighting for who's going to get their hands on the title of the home. But she tends to always get her hands on it before I do.
But
anyway,
Mario,
no, it's all good.
Mario Chubbard, one of our neighbours here, not far from the Podroom, said he'll be providing the show tonight with a prize, a Srixon hat, I think that's how you pronounce it, a dozen Srixon balls, and a round of golf at Waterford Valley Golf Club in Rowville. So that will come to you. That is coming from the PGA Social Golf Club. And what is PGA? PGA Golf Club stand for Pages Golf Appreciation Club. Now, that gives away a clue for the actual competition question. The question is, who is the Croatian connection in Happy Gilmore 2?
Oh.
So is there something to do with Croatians or a Croatian in Happy Gilmore 2? We've given away half the answer. So if you're the first one in with the answer, you'll win the 6 golf balls, the hat, and the golf round at Waterford? Whenever it's in Rowville. Waterford Valley Golf Club. So if you're a keen golfer, jump on and let us know.
And what's the prize? What is that?
A hat, 6 golf balls, and a golf round
Wow.
of at what's it called? The Waterford Valley Golf Club.
Okay.
Now, I think that's it for our community announcer so far, other than, well, a last-minute one just popped in, Warrington Croatia girls. So if you're up in Sydney this weekend, the Warrington Croatia girls have made their grand final, and they'll be playing at Jamison Park in Penrith. So if you're available, get down to Penrith. If you're a single bloke looking for a single lady, Penrith, I think, is the place to go. But Warrington, Croatia, well done to the girls for making the grand final, and fingers crossed they get over the line and take the title this weekend there at Jamison Park in Penrith.
Yeah. Hope so. Like with some of the disasters that are happening with the other soccer clubs, look at that. Warrington, Croatia girls.
Yeah, we've had a bit of an up and down season. So I know Adelaide, Croatia has officially been relegated.
Yep.
Melbourne Knights over the weekend as well.
Yeah, that
with
was
a 1-0 lead. I think it was 1-0
One,
up.
there was 1-0 up.
I switched off at 1-1
Yeah.
and woke up in the morning to a 7-1 defeat to sister club Dandy City. But then with that win, Dandy City goes into the top 6.
Yeah.
One more game to go. We maybe have one representative at least in the finals, and we can get behind Dandy City in that finals. But
I was actually at the game, and I reckon I switched off at 1-1 as well. But what a calamity! You just go, you look at that, you just go, oh my god! You sacrifice your time to go watch that kind of football, and not the sacrifices people make for their clubs, the time they put in, the thousands of dollars to put that spectacle on. That's what spins me out. Like it just go, and that's not just that, but that's NPL sometimes where you just go, this game costing you tens of thousands of dollars to put on this show, and you watch that and you go, really? Anyway, that's my
tough going. It's been a tough year, but it's how they'll bounce back, I think, is what we're most interested in. And if everyone can get behind the club at this juncture where it is very, very tough going, but there's plenty in the pipelines that they're working on. So there'll be a big Zub at the end of the year in October. There is the last man standing raffle. If you haven't got your tickets, grab yourself a book, sell them to your friends. We need to raise as much money as possible because the financial situation isn't great by any stretch. Not as bad as Western United, who are still waiting for a white knight to save them from their tens of millions of dollars of debt that they've racked up, and apparently a very, very large debt to the Australian Taxation Office, but we'll leave that for another day.
It sort of makes you question football as a business venture in this country is probably not wise.
So I think being conservative is best. But we've got, like we said, we've got some guests coming on tonight. So we've got Filip Perica, who will be joining us hopefully around 8 o'clock, Croatian rugby union star, English educated. So he's studied in England at a number of universities. He plays as a centre, and he'll be joining us and telling us a little bit about rugby union back in the homeland. What's the interest? How many clubs are there? Is there a league? What's going on? Because many of us probably haven't seen too much of Croatian rugby union,
Seen much of rugby union
in general, but particularly back home. So he'll be chatting to us. We've also got a pre-recorded interview with Dennis Dumachic, who is the lead singer of leteći odred, and final last remaining member, and also permanent member of Miyashi, and has written something like 340 songs for other artists. He's an absolute machine. He reckons he's been more productive as a songwriter and a musician than he has as a band member and all that. So it's quite interesting. It is in Croatian, so hopefully you're fluent enough to be able to catch the gist of that. But in very, very important breaking news, many of you may have jumped on YouTube and all of a sudden, you know how they pre-populate for you. They know what you like to watch and they throw it up. And for me, in recent days, it's been the protests east of the River Drina that have been very concerning and have been of great interest to many people. And it's been on CNN and so on all over the the English-speaking media, let alone their own domestic media. But we are lucky enough to be able to. I think we're going to be able to go live. We've got a correspondent.
Wow, really?
He's in Valjevo. Valjevo is one of the hotspots over there.
Wow, yes,
in the old country. And we've got a photo of our correspondent. There he is, Savo Gubavac. His name's Savo Gubavac. He works for the Republic of Serbia and Krajina television station in exile. And we're hoping we're just going to see if we can get him live because I
can't believe that. I mean, look.
There is a lot of fireworks in the background. There's all sorts of things going on.
Well, this situation, I mean, like it's just fiery at the moment. If we can get a connection,
but if we can,
it's going to be amazing.
I think he's got internet connection, even though there is a lot of shenanigans going on there. But we'll see if we can get Savo on. Hello, Savo. Savo, se čujemo.
Najviše incidenata prošle noći u Valjevu, Beogradu I Novom Sadu.
Hello, Smoljan Smol. Thank you to PodroomTV for having us live here from Valjevo tonight. My name is Savo Gubavac and I'm reporting to you live here. As you can see the scenes in the background, the Ustaše have attacked our government, the great government of Aleksandar Vučić, the man that should be getting a Nobel Peace Prize for enabling peace in our region. We are a peaceful people. We have no problems with our neighbours or with anybody in this region, but the Ustaše agents from Croatia and Albania have come here and they are attacking our people and our police, our peaceful police here. As you can see, this young 14-year-old man on the ground who has attacked 20 police officers who were just there minding their own business, having a cigarette, and this animal, 14 years old, as you can see, heavily armed to the teeth, attacking our police. And you can see here 14 of those officers were injured in this melee. But what can I say? Valjevo, Novi Sad, Belgrade, Niš are all in flames because of the agents that have been sent across here by the United Nations, by Germany and by the Vatican. We're a peaceful people. We have tried to reintegrate Kosovo peacefully and also the regions of Republika Srpska and Srpska Krajina that were taken away from us because we're a peaceful, law-abiding people. But look what they have done to our country. And as you can see, they're attacking our great president, Aleksandar Vučić, the greatest man since Joseph Stalin to have lived in this last 100 years. So as you can see, we're praying for peace in this country. But what can we do when the Ustaše have come and invested?
Oh, jeez. We hope that Savo's all right there, but he must have been attacked by these agents that have been sent in from over the border. Apparently, they've crossed over at Šid, just across from Vukovar. There, apparently, there's been some Croats that have been captured who have been instigating all of these riots, where hundreds of thousands of Serbian people have risen to fight their government on the behest of a couple of people that have crossed the border, probably for a night out or a bucks night in Belgrade. As they do.
Savo's okay.
Yeah, we just hope Savo's okay. Lucky he was armed. He must have picked up a baton from the police. So a very peaceful police force, I must say, over there. They're very standoffish and they're very understanding, and they've been negotiating with these people. But thank you, Savo, for joining us. Savo Gubavac of the Gubavac clan. Down there from Brgud, near Benkovac, I believe the Gubavci you come from.
Yeah.
It was great to have him on.
Terrifying,
but terrifying. Hard to watch. Hard to watch, and our heart bleeds for these from watching these scenes. It is very, very difficult to watch because we know how peaceful they are.
Because we know that the police need to defend themselves from these 14-year-olds that are armed to the teeth. It's
Exactly.
It is very concerning.
Apparently, he was still attacked with 2 broken legs, a punctured lung, and a ruptured kidney. He was still managed to injure 14 police officers. In that melee, which is terrible. Yeah. But we just did have someone also pop up before, but they've disappeared off the screen. But hopefully they can come back. Kata, if you are listening, because this evening, Mladi Hrvati have got their usual kids practice down there at Clifton Hill. and they're going to be celebrating and also farewelling Veličasni Ivan Matijević, who has been here only for a brief time, but has made a massive impression. And he also was there yesterday at. He did Clifton Hill, he did Dallas, and then he made his way to Sunshine, all in the space of 2 or 3 hours to do all 3 mise. And it was fantastic to have him here. But he will be leaving on Wednesday, and I think we have them on now. Hopefully, if it does come up, looks like I might have paused, or they may not have much reception where they are, but they are sitting there in the background. Fingers crossed.
Oh, here we are. Oh no, that's a photo.
Got him there. We'll see if there's any movement.
No movement at the station. Oh, here we go.
Evo, je li se čujemo?
Je, sad se čujemo.
Dobra večer i dobrodošli u Podrum TV. Drago nam je. Kako ste nam?
Evo, sve je dobro, lijepo je ovdje. Ide polako. Kod vas?
A pomalo, evo, tu smo. Ponedjeljak je radni tjedan, za neke, za druge nije baš, ali dobro.
Dobro.
Mi smo nastavili isto sa istim programom, kao što smo ostavili jučer.
Je. Dobar vam je studio, Ožujsko.
Pa, da. Još ne sponzoriraju nas, ali mi se nadamo.
Mi sponzoriramo
Biće.
njih izgleda.
Dobro.
Recite nam, idete već, se vraćate u srijedu, je li je tako, ili u četvrtak? Uskoro...
U četvrtak navečer idem iz Melbourna za Hrvatsku.
Da.
Je.
Je li ćete nam se vratiti ili nije to do vas možda?
Je, bilo je prelijepo stvarno ovih dana, kao što ste rekli u najavi, malo je se to iskompliciralo. Bio sam određen za Clifton Hill, pa sam onda išao Dallas, Sunshine i tako dalje. Ali evo, volio bi se vratiti, vidjet ćemo. Lijepo je sve bilo.
Da, i vidim tu su se djeca iz folklorne grupe okupili večeras i jel pripremaju što za vas ovako?
Evo, ovih par dana stvarno su ljudi bili Hrvati prema meni, vjernici, izvrsni. Imao sam oproštaj u svim župama, a evo stalno neko dolazi i privatno da se pozdravimo i da prenesem pozdrave u Hrvatskoj i bilo gdje da idem. A večera smo se okupili mi iz mladih Hrvata, roditelji i djeca su pripremili malo druženje sa mnom i tako lijepo je. Družili smo se ovih 5 tjedana, pa da se danas malo oprostimo.
Da. I kad se vratite, gdje se onda nalazite? Ili idete u začu?
Ja sam trenutno na studiju Svetog pisma u Rimu, Bibliju studiram, 2. godinu sam završio. Malo ću ići kući, ne znam hoću li uspjeti doći na more malo u Hrvatsku, ali malo ću biti sa svojima, nakon toga idem ponovno u Rim, imam neke ispite i kreće nova godina.
Da, a gdje se vaši nalaze? Odakle ste porijeklom?
Moji su iz Žepča, Herceg Bosna.
Da.
Je, srednja Bosna.
Zovko Žepče, znam da ima one pumpe i šta ja zanima.
Kaže da je Žepče najveći hrvatski otok na svijetu.
Da. A baš nam je drago. Jučer, kako je sve prošlo jučer u Sunshineu sa velikom proslavom?
Bilo je prelijepo. U petak smo proslavili veliku gospu ovdje u Clifton Hill. Bilo je možda oko 500 vjernika. Došli su iz Sunshinea i odsvakle Hrvati. A u nedjelju je bilo u Sunshineu procesija i druženje i s mladima i kasnije ručak. Bilo je, mislim, oko 2000 ljudi sigurno. Bilo je prelijepo, stvarno se vidi da hrvatski narod voli Gospu, da časti, da je stalo i dalje ne samo starijima, nego i mladima do crkve i do hrvatskog identiteta, što je najvažnije.
Da. I onda sad i vidite i sami, znate sami i u Žepču i ovdje da je jako teško održati kulturu i jezik.
Je. Mislim da je zbog toga crkva važna. Ok, ja shvaćam, mlad čovjek, ne vidi on motiv ići u crkvu, jer je mlad, interesuju ga druge stvari, ali važno je ići u crkvu baš i u Bosni i ovdje u dalekim misijama. Zbog toga, jer ćeš ti od svećenika, od vjernika starijih čuti,
zašto je važno biti Hrvat, znati hrvatski jezik, znati hrvatsku kulturu, povijest i tako dalje. A onda, kada dođu životni problemi, mladi shvate da je važno i vjerovati u Boga. Zato mislim da je to nekako, trebaju oni shvatiti to, ali ja shvaćam njih da su mladi i da ih tako ne zanimaju te neke trenutno stvari. Jučer sam bio na misi i ljudi su mi poslije mise rekli sve si dobro rekao, ali najbolje si rekao jednu rečenicu. A dvije bake su mi rekli sve si dobro rekao osim te rečenice. Ja sam pitao šta je, a ja sam njima rekao nemojte biti Australci, budite Hrvati. Evo, to je moja poruka bila u smislu budite Hrvati, vi morate znati svoj jezik, kulturu. Zato mi vjerujemo i u crkvu i u Gospu, jer imamo neke druge vrijednosti, na to sam mislio.
I sada nedavno ste isto održali noć mladih, imali ste misu i onda nakon toga je bilo večere i svačega.
Imali smo, dok sam ja ovdje dva druženja s mladima, na prvo je bilo negdje oko skoro 200 mladih i ovdje u Clifton Hill je bilo oko 50. A što je stvarno važno, da mladi se okupljaju ne samo zbog crkve, vjere, nego da znaju da su oni Hrvati, da znaju druge prijatelje Hrvate koji su zajedno s njima. Bilo je lijepo i treba raditi s mladima. Oni koji su ovdje već duže trebaju to. Zbog toga je važno ovo što se mi okupljamo ovdje kao mladi Hrvati i u Sunshine-u, njihova društvo i udruge. I trebamo svi zajedno to poticati dalje. A isto vaša uloga je važna preko društvenih mreža, širiti tko smo mi, što je nama bitno u našem životu. Ne samo vjera, nego sve skupa je važno.
Da, i jezik, i kultura, i sport, i sve se to može povezati. Vidjeli smo jučer, krenulo iz nogometnog kluba na noge, u crkvu, poslije crkve ljudi se vratili na utakmicu ili ušli ručak i tako slično, tako da se sve može to povezati i kad se radi zajedno, onda se može puno toga više napraviti nego što se inače može pojedinačno. Da.
Jel ćemo imati još opet neke prilike da se vidimo? Jel će se vratiti u Melbourneu ili kako? Ima tu neke planove?
Ja sam iskreno, to nama biskup dadne na volju da odemo u hrvatske misije, pomoć našim svećenicima jer trebaju oni ići na odmor. Ali oni mene su poticali za Božić da idem u Sunshine, nije bilo svećenika, onda sam trebao za Uskrs, ali nije se na kraju to nešto moglo, uvijek se nešto iskomplicira i onda sam ja obećao za Uskrs da ću sigurno doći na ljeto ovdje u Melbourne i pomoć što bude trebalo. A evo ja se radujem i stvarno bit će sigurno prilike da dođem ponovno i da se družimo i da vidimo možda neke naše planove ovdje što možemo učiniti za ljude, za mlade, za sve one kojima nešto treba. A evo ja bih iskoristio i priliku zahvaliti se svima vama koji ste ovdje duže. Ipak ste vi oduvijek pomagali Bosnu i Hercegovinu i Hrvate u Hrvatskoj. Sve naše aktivnosti, planove, događaje, nogometne susrete i bilo je stvarno mi koji smo u Europi uvijek na Australiju gledamo sa nekim posebnim osjećajem, jer u Australiji vidimo pravi hrvatski identitet koji je daleko, ali se vidi jasno i glasno. Evo, zahvalni smo i mi vama, a evo i mladi su tu. Dobro, ajde sad. Ajde sad, ko će odgovoriti na jedno pitanje? Na engleski. Dajte im jedno pitanje.
Who's that? Sebastian? Is that Sebastian there?
No.
What dance are you learning at the moment?
None.
None? You got the night off?
Is it just party time tonight?
Ajde ih pitajte, koji im je najdraži hrvatski igrač? Ko vam je najdraži? Modrić? Perišić?
Zavisi koji je sport.
Ovo je Livaković.
Obviously.
Ajde, šuti, sad još jedno pitava će vam oni postaviti. Slušajte.
Who's your favorite priest at Clifton Hill?
Ali stvarno imamo nekoliko ovdje čestitke i zahvalnice ovo što ste došli i koliko to koji ste dojam ostavili ljudima i jako su zahvalni za sve i jedva čekaju da se vratite ovdje u Melbourneu, da se možemo opet ovako lijepo družiti i
Iako je Luka Modrić najbolji nogometaš, za nas je najbolji svećenik velečasni Ivan Matijević. Pa hvala vam na vašem doprinosu našoj zajednici ovdje. Jako nam puno znači. Dodirili ste puno ljudi i staro i mlado i ostavili ste jedan veliki dojam i stvarno se nadamo da ćete doći opet, ako ikako moguće, ako vas biskup pusti da dođete opet da budete s nama, bilo u Sunshine-u, bilo gdje u Clifton Hillu. Tamo imamo Bosnička, ali u Sunshine-u ako možete ili ikako dogovorite se sa biskupom ako je moguće i mogli bi vas vidjeti nego išta.
Hvala vam puno i hvala svim stvarno vjernicima, svi su prema meni bili pretopli, predobri. Evo, molit ćemo se svi jedni za druge da nam dragi Bog dadne, jel svima snage. Evo vas pozivam kad god imate neku zanimljivu temu, možemo se na live uključiti, pričati o bilo čemu, nije problem nikakav. Evo, radujem se ja ponovno susreti, dođite u Rim, da iz Vatikana napravimo live.
Kad ste u Rimu, postavite Franka, ako ga vidite.
Hoću Jurića. Kad sam bio u Los Angelesu, došao je HRT snimat isto ovako zajednicu i pitali su mlade iz kola koji im je najdraža posjeta, oni su rekli Hrvatska. Evo, trebamo organizirati za njih da dođu.
Hi kids, if you're watching this, don't do drugs.
Evo, hvala vam još jednom i čujemo se.
Hvala vama i sretan put.
Sretan put i sve najbolje.
Well, thank you there to Velchast Ivan Matijević. He's on his way home on Thursday night back to Rome, or a little bit going to visit his family in Žepče, maybe hit the beach and go back to Rome to continue with his studies. But fantastic. You can see what it means to the kids there at Mladi Hrvati and the Župa at Clifton Hill, but also he's covered Dallas and he's covered Sunshine. Very well spoken. What he's done at a number of masses, he has done both Croatian and had an English translator to help with the kids to understand what is the main message getting through in his sermons, and it's been absolutely fantastic. Breath of fresh air again, something different, passionate, and you can see there he loved it down here, and he's a great Hrvat as well.
He's left quite an impression there with the Mladi Hrvati, you said, but there's also left quite an impression with the middle-aged Hrvati and the study Hrvati as well.
Exactly right.
No, but fantastic to
but
have him on
not
the
to
show.
keep him waiting, in the background, we also have, as promised, and fantastic that he's online, and hopefully it all works, we have Mr. Filip Perica, Croatian national team rugby union star. You can see him in his photos quite, according to the Onside Sports podcast, I think it's an Australian podcast, he was called a heartthrob. And by looking at these photos, reminds me a bit of a young me, actually. There with you can look at those biceps and you can see the forearms. And even there after a tough game, you can see him wearing the Croatian jersey with pride and covered in mud after a tough slog there, maybe in the full international or maybe in the sevens. But we welcome to tonight's program Filip Perica. Can we hear you, Filipe?
I think you can. Can you?
Very clear, perfect. We've had some problems with some live streams in the past couple of weeks, but we can see and hear you clearly, and it's fantastic. Thank you for joining us tonight.
No, I'm happy to be here, guys. How are you doing?
Very, very good. But
Where are you joining us from? Are you in Zagreb? Are you on the coast? What are you?
No, I'm in Zagreb at the moment. Yeah,
Like
I do live in Zagreb. But...
You're the only person left in Zagreb then at the moment. Then, obviously.
Yes. I've done my time at the seaside, so yeah, it's nice now. It's empty. Streets are empty. You can get in places in time, so not too bad to be in Zagreb.
You get heat stroke much easier as well from the asphalt.
Yes.
But correct. Tell us a little bit about yourself. So we know, look, rugby union in Australia, in some parts of Australia, it's a very, very popular sport. New South Wales, in Queensland. Used to be in Melbourne. I don't think we've even got a team in Melbourne anymore.
No, we don't. No.
But it's quite
Maybe we do. I don't
big
know.
in certain areas. Obviously, in the UK, Ireland, etc. Even in Argentina and some of these other European countries. But Croatia is probably not one that you'd think of straight away as being a rugby playing country. But we've been pretty successful considering. How many clubs are in the Croatian competition? How many play in the local Domaća Liga?
Yeah. So yeah, you're right. It's a very small community in Croatia. So last year, for example, we only had 4 active clubs in like the Premier League, right? There is like a second league with a couple more developed clubs. It's usually smaller clubs who either merge, to make the numbers for the team. But if we look at the top level, it's only 4 clubs last year.
Yeah, and that's where they split. Who is a split? Sinj. So Nada.
Split Sinj. Yes, Nada in Split, Rugby Club Sinj, Rugby Club Zagreb, and Rugby Club Mladost.
There you go. But yourself, how did you get into rugby first? So I've watched a few podcasts. I've tried to get some information as much as I can, but I do know that you studied at Northumbria University. You studied at the University of St. Mark and St. John, and you've also studied with Exeter College. So did you get into rugby through studying in England, or is it something that happened at home and you may have seen somebody in your neighborhood playing rugby or someone that you know in your family that played rugby?
Yeah, it's an interesting journey. What actually motivated me to go abroad initially was rugby. So it was not really studies. Studies just came along. It happened quite early on. I think I was only 8 back in the time. There was this local club, Lokomotiva, which had, senior teams in the past, but obviously for some reason the senior team got disjoined. So the club was just looking for new players to kind of start fresh, new kids. We always struggle with young ages here in Croatia and rugby clubs. So basically, one of the coaches came into my brother's class. He is 3 years older than me, to just recruit some boys. And he obviously came in, he was a big muscular guy, and he said to the kids, look, guys, if you come to rugby, forget about football, but if you come to rugby, you're going to be big, muscular, fast, strong. And I guess the generation of my brother, they were just into that back in the day, in the late 90s. And then I just done what every younger brother does, I just tagged along, came to training. And I really liked it, because I was quite motivated to play rugby, because I actually broke my femur when I was really young. It's an old school Slavic story. We were just playing around on a construction site. I climbed the fence I shouldn't, went down, smashed my femur. But basically, as a consequence of that, I was always super slow, not really agile. So I didn't like football. I was bad at basketball. But at rugby, I didn't care. I just got a ball, run it straight, and it worked. So I just fell in love with the sport.
Where are you playing at the moment? So you're playing any club rugby at the moment?
Yes, at the moment I play for Novi Zagreb Rugby. It's like a small club that was founded by a couple of players that left Lokomotiva like 6 or 7 or 8 years ago. And I'm also playing for Mladost on a loan, because they play, obviously, the Premier League in Croatia.
Yeah, but you've also played in France. I think is it Sarlat? Is that how it's called? Is that how you pronounce it?
Correct. So I've done 5 years of studies in the UK, and then after that, I've signed a contract in France during COVID. Played it for a season, then did a season in Haarlem. It's a city next to Amsterdam, and then I went back to Croatia, got settled here. Missed my home.
You also played, I think is it Plymouth Albion?
Yes, that was kind of my first senior, like a properly serious year at rugby. They're playing National 1. They got demoted from Championship a couple of years before that. So that was my introduction to kind of to like super competitive, more professional environment.
And how did they accept you? The local, the English, the big guys and that, and you get this guy from Croatia. Did they know where Croatia was, or did they just say,
I mean, some of them visited it, during the holidays. But yeah, I think back then it's always a little bit of a challenge when you come as a foreigner, especially from a non-rugby country. Everyone is kind of looking down to you. Who is this guy? What does he know? We've been playing rugby for centuries, and I don't even know what country is this guy in. But once we go on a pitch and start running at each other, then they see what you can bring to the table.
But you think that Croatians are naturally built to play the sport, probably a perfect sport for Croats.
I think so, and we're very passionate about it. But it's just, I think football has such a large stake of sportsmen and participants and viewers and funding in Croatia is just really difficult for any smaller sport. Even
Well, you-
basketball and handball are struggling, let alone rugby.
Yeah. Well, you talk about now rugby. From your perspective, is rugby growing in Croatia? Is it stagnant? Is it going down? How is what's the reception like in Croatia? The popularity of the game? Are you getting more people playing it? More people watching it? What's the outlook look like?
That's a good question. It's a tricky one. While some segments of the game got more popular and better, other got worse, I would say. For example, when I was much younger, there was more kids playing rugby. There was more active rugby clubs. I feel like now we're struggling a bit more with numbers and clubs actually bringing kids in. I know all sports are a bit struggling on this in general. However, when it comes to the achievements, with only 4 active clubs, we've been able to get promoted to the 2nd division of Rugby 15s in Europe, and we're always mid-table. A couple of years ago, we were still playing in conference, so that was massive. And 2 years ago, actually, with Rugby 7s, we got promoted to championship, where we played against Great Britain, France, Ireland. I mean, for a country with 4 rugby clubs, that was just unbelievable.
And how did you go against these traditional heavyweights in the rugby?
Not well, not well. Because we have such a small pool of players. We play both 15s and 7s, pretty much same people. Like backs from 15s are usually playing the 7s. And we were really physical and big, but they were just running around us. We weren't just quick enough. Although we do have now a program because of that achievement. We have a 5-year program where we're actually entering more and more younger players and actually getting them specialized only for 7s. So out of all of this, great things have come out.
Do you think there's prospects for young players that play rugby in Croatia to maybe go off to France or Italy or the Great Britain and play it professionally? And has there been any history of any players being able to do that?
I think with a couple older generations, back after the war, a lot of people who migrated to other countries, for better life standards, stayed there and played rugby and were very, very well. But in this modern part of rugby, besides myself and maybe a couple other players, not many of them actually went out to play. I do agree with you completely. We're part of the European Union. We are a sports country, and definitely there is a lot of talent to get them out there. I think it just comes down to building quality relationships with other clubs or perhaps universities.
Is there still a few like Croatians from New Zealand or Australia and some of those countries in the national team, or is there now more local boys? Is that sort of gone? Because I remember in the early days we had Frano Botica. Frano Botica, I think, All Blacks.
Is it? Yeah.
He was a legend in New Zealand. And he ended up playing for the Croatian national team. And once I think we nearly qualified for a World Cup. I think we lost. I think it was Italy in the last qualifier or something like that. We were quite close. But is that changed now a little bit, or is there still people coming from over there to get a
I would say if you asked me like 7 or 8 years ago when I just joined kind of senior rugby in terms of rugby 15s, we had many more blokes coming from the New Zealand and Australia. And then COVID happened. So for like 2 or 3 years, no one was coming over. But that actually was quite good because it built up a good foundation of local players who, use these couple of years of international experience to, build their experience and knowledge. But we do still have a couple boys like Dylan Rowe. He's traveling from Australia to play for us 15s and more players or so. And I think that's a good balance of having a lot of homegrown players and then a couple of internationals and as well coming in to give us that boost and experience.
And the ones that played in the past, have they stayed in Croatia and they may be still helping out with coaching, or did they all just sort of travel to games and then go back to England if they were playing and things like that?
That's usually the case. They usually travel, do the campaign and go back. We did have, I think, 2 players that stayed and did a bit of coaching for a year. But as you're aware, I think it's quite difficult for them to have the same standard of living. If you're making a wage abroad and then you come to Croatia, it's quite hard to mimic the same funding you get at the end of the day. So it's quite hard to keep the boys over the years.
So what's your biggest battle? Is it just infrastructure in general, just getting, proper grounds, proper change rooms? Is it just getting funding from the government? Is the government coming to the party at all? I saw that there was that Milanovic getting a rugby top. I think it was a Mladost one, or was it a Lokomotiva one? I'm not sure. I saw somewhere on the internet. Is there any, is the government warming to the game, should I say?
Yeah, I would say yes, especially now that we got promoted to the championship. You know, we played top division, and also because we had good connections with Rugby Europe, we actually volunteered to host the whole tournament in Makarska. So you could see France, Ireland, Great Britain, Italy, Georgia, everyone playing in Croatia and Makarska, which was massive and great for the population. So definitely government is getting involved with fundings for both sports. But again, that's because somehow we were crazy enough to get really good results as a small pool of players. But the biggest challenge definitely infrastructure. You know, I mean, look, besides football, you know, basketball, handball, even other sports which are more popular than rugby are struggling in, you know, compared to football. But rugby in Croatia is still on the bottom of the food chain, I would say. So it's usually facilities. There's not a lot of referees. There's not a lot of coaches with proper education. You know, just the usual, I think, issues for emerging countries in rugby.
Or maybe now there's been a lot of Croats moved to Ireland in the last few years. Maybe there'll be some coming out of Ireland. I'm not sure how many have gone to England, but I know there's a lot of Croatians in Dublin and in Ireland that have gone over. Unfortunately, many thousands of them have gone over there. Maybe they bring back some experience and maybe, you know, get involved when they come home.
Why not? Why not?
Because I know there's a Gaelic. I think there's a Gaelic football team in Croatia, the Croatian Celts. I've got their jersey as well. I've got the. I don't know if you can see here. But it was available for anyone that wanted to. That wasn't up until very recently available. This is only the kids one. I've got pretty much every size.
I thought that was yours.
Dynasty, they're a New Zealand company, I believe. Dynasty that make the jerseys, and they're available to buy online. Rugby jerseys. I've got the hoodie. You know, it's got American Express. It's got HEP. It's got Palm. Who else was there on the back? There's a number of. It's a fantastic jersey.
Croatia Osiguranje.
Croatia Osiguranje. So I'm thinking if they're still available, and we'll see if we can find out where you can purchase them from, because I'm assuming if we buy merchandise like what you're wearing or what I'm wearing, that some money goes back to the Croatian Rugby Union, obviously the Federation, the Savez, and it helps develop more people like yourself and the younger boys coming through.
Agreed.
Yep.
Now, do you actually have any merchandise for sale? Do you have any links or something that people can look at to purchase your...
Yeah, I think the Dynasty is managing this because, you know, they are creating and issuing these jerseys, but there is some talk to actually start a web shop that's actually managed by the Rugby Union in Croatia. That is in the plans. Because I also get many friends always asking me for merchandise, and the things we get, you know, are really limited to only us players. And I try to give it to as many of my rugby friends as I can, but obviously, even I would be doing some shopping for my family from time to time.
No, it'll be just good. I mean, if the people can actually purchase things, so you get some much needed money into your club, so you can use that money wisely.
But tell us about Filip Perica off the field. I see on LinkedIn they're operating. Is that your company? It's called Bulls Digital.
Yes, correct.
They operate out of Zagreb. What do you do? What is Bulls Digital?
Yeah, we're like a very small consultancy to offer business development services, mostly to companies in fintech, so financial technology, blockchain, payments, etc. So it's a little small growing company, but it's been exciting times on the market for it.
Yeah, so you never know. Croatia could become the financial hub of that southeastern Europe, like what it's Scotland. I think Scotland's the financial hub of.
It's a good country for expats. You know, you have a seaside nearby, food is great. Tax is not as high as in some other countries in Europe, especially for corporations. So yeah, there is some potential for that.
It's perfect for digital nomads. I know my wife will always ask, because she always wants to know, are you married? Do you have any girlfriends? Is there any prospects for the thousands of female viewers that we have?
No, unfortunately, I'm off the market. I have a wife and a little daughter. She's 1.5 soon. So yeah, I'm still finding my ways around this world of fatherhood.
So that's your toughest opponent. You've played against some big players from Argentina and from Georgia and everywhere else, but that 1.5-year-old is your toughest opponent.
100%. Next to running a company and trying to meet my commitments for rugby, this is #1 challenge. But as you know, most rewarding.
And tell me, the Pericas, are you from Zagreb? Were you born in Zagreb, or do you have your podrijetlo from somewhere else?
Yeah, the origins of Pericas is mostly actually down south, parts of Dalmatia and borderline with Bosnia.
Oh, right, because I know some.
So there's a lot of Pericas there, yeah.
Yeah, there's some Pericas I know in Beograd, Beograd na Moru.
There you go.
Sure. Yeah, very good, very good. And other than that, really,
So
I
is
know
it-
that on the Onside, I think it was called Onside Sports. Was that an Australian podcast that you went on?
Yes, it was. Well, a couple of years ago.
We're not going to ask you to sing. Don't worry about it. We're not
Please
going to.
don't.
But you have a passion for singing, actually. Well, that's another one. I heard that you got a very passion. You are passionate about singing. What's your what are your musical interests? What are the genres you're into?
Ooh, all of them. All of them. If I always say if a song is
Country
good.
and Western.
Yeah, I played a guitar back in high school. I was actually in a band. I actually had like a long hair till here. I was like in heavy metal back then. And then I had to decide at one point, should I put all of my efforts into music or rugby? Rugby won, thankfully. But yeah, genres, everything. I love Croatian music, Balkan general music. I love metal, rock. Like if the song is good, it gets you going, right?
Tell me about your metal and rock ones. Which ones do you like there?
Like Metallica, Megadeth, Pantera, Slayer. Yeah, there you go.
You're not mucking around. That's
So
right.
Megadeth will be having their farewell tour. So we were talking about, I was at kids soccer training yesterday on Friday, and everyone was talking about Megadeth retiring, and they're going to have their final farewell tour. So everybody's waiting to see when they're coming to Australia. But I did see them when they were in Zadar at Metal Fest back in, I don't know if it was 2016, I think it was. They played in Zadar of all places at an auto camp in the middle of Zadar there. It was quite funny to see. But geez, what was I going to ask now? There was something.
I got carried away by Megadeth. That's what Megadeth has. That.
Yeah, I didn't know you guys were such fans.
You're talking about your hair. My hair was quite long too. When I had a lot more of it as well.
If you were a young Croatian man or woman in the 1980s growing up in Melbourne, definitely we're from Melbourne, but Sydney, if you didn't listen to heavy metal, then something was wrong. You know,
good times. I envy you. Good times.
No, in my other life, I do sing, but my influence is always Bruce Dickinson was my hero, as was Jeff Tate in Queensryche and many other bands. So always try to emulate them.
We do have an interview after, which I recorded on Thursday with Dennis Dumachic from Leteci Odret, and now in Mejaši. So I interviewed him on Thursday, and we'll be playing the interview a little bit later.
It's a star-studded show. Like we've just got stars everywhere.
Heartthrob singers, heartthrobs all night tonight for the.
You guys are smashing it.
We're trying. We're trying our best. Sometimes we fall flat on our faces. You've seen that a lot on the rugby field.
But Filipe, first and foremost, on behalf of the PodroomTV and our many Australian Croatian viewers and viewers that are watching from anywhere else outside of Australia, thank you very much for joining us. We wish you all the very best of luck in your career, in your family life, in your musical career after you retire from rugby and you rejoin the band and grow your hair back.
That's right.
But we'll keep in touch. So we are in touch on LinkedIn. If there are any games, we'll try and see if there are any games coming up. We'll try and advertise if we can find them online somehow, streaming, and we can watch. And also, again, any merchandise or any way that we can maybe buy memberships to the Saves or to a particular club. We'll try and get all of that information, and we'll see what we can do to help.
And also
out.
on top of that, look, there are a number of families that are moving back to Croatia. It's shock horror, I know. Everyone talks about all this exodus that's going out to Ireland, but there's actually quite a number that are returning, which I'm sure you've seen. Is there anywhere they can contact you if they are rugby players, especially if they're from Australia or Kiwis? Is there someone that can call you and get in touch and get it, become part of one of these clubs?
Yeah, absolutely. Just feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn, my name and my surname, or even connect with our head coach, Anthony Posha. Either one of we're quite close, so I'll be able to give you next steps as well.
Very good. Thank you very much on behalf of Podroom TV for joining us, and thank you for your time. I svako dobro ti želimo i tvojoj obitelji u sportu, u životu, u svemu. Thank you so much for joining us, and you've really, I think, let us know a lot about rugby union, which we probably didn't know too much about in Croatia. Now we know a whole lot more. So thank you very much.
Sounds good. Thanks. Appreciate you guys for having me, and likewise, wish you all the best and keep smashing the podcast.
Anytime. Thank you very much, Filipe. Svako dobro.
Bye.
Well, there you go. He was called a heartthrob on Onside Sports Podcast, and I think he's still a heartthrob now. And that was a couple of years ago, but what an absolutely fine young gentleman who...
people coming around, well-spoken guy, absolutely well-spoken guy, but he's a university-educated guy. I mean, and he went to England, it wouldn't have been very easy.
I went to Preston TAFE. But
we both spent a bit of time on the train as well.
Yeah, but the gear I am wearing was from a couple of years ago at least. But Dynasty Sports, so just like the album Dynasty or the TV show Dynasty,
Or the album Dynasty.
That's right, Dynasty.nz, I think it was. It's a New Zealand company that does Samoa and a lot of other, probably smaller rugby countries, but they used to have a whole lot of Croatia stuff. Then they sort of did a big stock take, got rid of a lot of the probably leftover stock, and I don't think they've re-uploaded any new stuff, but I haven't checked in a while. Check it out, or even I might email them and ask them as well, when are you going to bring out some more stuff? Because I'll tell you what, the stuff was reasonable.
Oh, it's cool.
And it's very high quality. Now I've got the kids' all jerseys. I've got the biggest I could find at that time was a medium, so there was no larges or extra larges because they must have sold out everything. But yeah, some great stuff. But Croatian Rugby Union, you know, what a story. Like I said, there was some big names. Frano Botica, if anyone ever followed the All Blacks in New Zealand, he was a household name in New Zealand, yeah. I think Botica, I think they're from Senior as well. And that's what I forgot to say earlier tonight. I did have one complaint a couple of weeks ago.
Oh, did you? Okay.
I did. So it was Mr. Borjanko.
Oh, no, not Borja.
Mr.
He would have
Borja
complained.
doesn't complain about anything. He's one of the happiest, most positive people I know.
Yeah.
But I did mention that Borja Janko and the Jankos came from Otok near Sinj when we were talking about the Thompson concert.
Yeah, we did.
They have to make a retraction.
Well, what number Pelinkovac was that?
That was about 16 Pelinkovac in, where I thought he was from Otok. They're not from Otok. They're from Obrovac. So Obrovac near Sinj. He said he doesn't want nothing to do with the shit people from Otok. Don't put me in the same basket as those people because I'm nothing like them. Okay, that is true. He's nothing like anybody, Mr. Bobby Janko. But there's the retraction, Bobby. Feel free to send your sponsorship in to PodroomTV at Gmail. But we also did get a message from our friend Mickey Cholina, who's currently in Tomislavgrad.
Funnily enough.
So if anyone is from Tommytown and has heard of a soccer club called Brišnik, I'm not sure if that's a name of a cellar or it's a sort of a nickname of a soccer club from a particular cellar or town. Brišnik has won the Tomislavgrad Općinska Liga, being 1-0 down. Huge deal. Flare show, pyrotechnics. They were 1-0 down. They came back to win 5-1 and have won the Župor. It's called the Tomislavgrad Općinska Liga, I believe it's called. So well done to Brišnik. Not sure. I know a fair few of the places around Tommytown, but I've not heard of Brišnik. So if anyone can clarify who they are, or if you're from there, because there's plenty of Tommytowners in Australia, no doubt you'll be able to explain.
Barely heard of Tommytown.
Really? I've heard of Thomastown, but so that one's done. But I think in terms of
the eclectic mix, though, of guests that we've had tonight, but is there something wrong with me when I say, like, I'm a middle-aged man, and when Bill Chastity was on, I didn't have a sip of beer because I was just feeling really self-conscious? Is that my Catholic guilt? I don't know what that is.
Oh, it could be. I wanted to be a priest once upon a time.
What happened?
Podroom TV, episode 4, I think it was.
I was a bit like me. Like I said, I was a ministrant there for 9 years, and I was getting too interested in the females that were coming up for preachers rather than the actual preachers.
But I'm not sure if you've seen any answers come in for our golf prize giveaway, but I did get one via text, actually. It was via text. Have you seen anyone come in?
I'm looking at these texts. Marko Uskok opet Ustaševu krivi. Gubovac iz Brguda. Yep, let's see. That's the one.
Exactly
like
right next
to
Dan
Hutchinson. No way.
Daniel Hutchinson from Istanbul.
Hacho's come in. Is it finally time to release the Smolly file circa 1990s?
I think it might be very, very soon.
Well,
we'll see how things pan out, Hutch.
See how many Podinkovas we have. Thanks, Koblar, as well. Pozdrav iz Priblake, Dalmatinske, ne Slavonske.
But the golf prize, I think it will go to Nick Stefanac, who got the right answer right. Paige Spiranac played a cameo appearance in Happy Gilmore 2. Now, I think Paige Spiranac, according to some sources, her dad's from somewhere around Rijeka or by ancestry. Not too sure, but Paige Spiranac, she is in Happy Gilmore 2. So Mr. Stefanac is the winner of the golf prize, and I'll touch base with you this week.
Well, someone put down that Kelsey was in the movie. Was he in that movie?
Which one?
Kelsey,
Travis Kels.
Yeah.
Yes, he's in it too.
Well, he's Croatian as well. So they confused them.
We might have to get Mario to whip up a second merchandise pack at some point in the future for that. Who gave us that answer there?
Let me find that one. I saw that earlier on.
He is nekako naš of some sort.
Well, I saw something. I saw he's got a podcast as well.
We might have to get him on
not quite as popular as ours, but
no.
He was talking about his Croatian roots. Where someone who had a guest on who said, they just went to Italy and Croatia, and they asked, which one did you like better? And she goes, Croatia. And they go, they all start, yeah, well, you know what, we're Croatian as well. They just found out the week before that they were actually Croatian. Grugic, she was the one. There you go. I think he was the one who actually
Maybe people got confused, and maybe he was not Croatian. Taylor Swift is Croatian, because if you said Croatian roots, it could be that.
We're going back to the Metro days of the 90s now. Kelsey Croatian, yeah. Well, apparently he is.
Staro Kelce.
God,
Sing.
yeah. But I actually remember seeing, I
yeah.
go, well, he sounds like a Croatian.
Yeah, he used to go to butcher in up on the Hume Highway there, Sydney Road.
Tony Grigic saying Travis Kelce is more Crow than Spidanovic. No, he's not.
All right, Matty Jurcevic.
We're taking the run.
Matt Jurcevic says that Brišnik is a village about 10 minutes south of Tomislavgrad.
There you go.
So there you go. Brišničani, congratulations on your victory.
Is anyone actually from Brišnik? If you're from Brišnik or know anyone that is, let us know.
I know people from Letka, so I've got some people from Letka over there. You got Kongora, you've got Mokronoge, you got some fairly illustrious names around Tommytown, but a lot of them that we know here in Australia.
Kelsey Nash, Kelsey from Rama.
I
don't know if that was true. Okay, well there you go. But no, like quite an eclectic bunch. It was like I felt a bit weird after we had Savo on, and then straight after Savo.
It
was a little bit weird.
Yeah, the Savo Gubovac. He's from Brgut. Brgut is right next to Liščić. Yeah, that's where my mum's from.
Okay.
Originally, Porijeklo, and Mr. Marko Uskok, also from Liščić. Very, very strong Croatian village there. Again, just on the outskirts of Benkovac, which was very much colonized in the 1930s and 40s, where the Croat population was forced out and moved mostly to Slavonia. That's where my mum was born, and her older siblings were born down south, and a lot of people up there are from our neck of the woods, as they are from a lot of places of Bosnia and Herzegovina as well. Yeah. I know people from Kupres in Đakovo, and then people from Tommytown are in Nova Gradiška or whatever. They all tended to go to Slavonia, forced out because they had nowhere to go, and then they were replaced by another group of people who we saw today beating each other up on the streets of Belgrade.
Yeah, that's right.
But
going down the news, actually, this was one that I know that people probably have strong views on this one because, well, regardless of whether we like it or not, everyone's is interested in soccer. Luka Sučić has been left out of the Croatian squad because he missed the last game against who did we play against in Osijek? Oh my
Czech.
God, I think it was Czech. In Osijek, he didn't play because his sister got married that night, so he chose to go to the wedding instead. And now, as a punishment, Dalic has left him out of the squad. What are your feelings of that? I don't know.
It's not like it's some kind of a breaking of real protocol or anything like that. He didn't do an Ivica Mornar and go have a sandwich at midnight in a hotel in 1998 and Ciro Blažević sent him home, or a Kalinic who said he had a sore back in that friendly because he was on the bench or whatever. So, I don't know, maybe one of these are the sorts of things you probably need to nut out before the game.
Or a Bochko gone for a drive.
Yeah. I think hopefully they must have had some kind of, you'd think they've had a conversation. Listen, boss, can I possibly go to my sister's wedding? Marko Babic, if anyone remembers Mark Babic that played for Sydney United, he had a similar situation when he was supposed to play for the Oli Roos and his sister got married. And I think he decided to go to the wedding. Must be a pretty sick wedding.
I remember when Andrew Marth got married, the next day he came and played. There was a story on SBS. I remember that. I can't remember what I had for breakfast today, but I remember that 30 years ago there was a story that he got married and the next morning he came and played for the night. So
honeymoon's over.
Honeymoon was over.
Stabber.
Another one there, Torcida's reception for Hajduk is it yesterday after a resounding 3-0 win against Slaven Belupo. I don't know if anyone saw the footage, but probably in thanks for their wonderful display in Tirana against Dinamo City. They were actually Torcida were throwing flares at them, not in celebration of them. Now I can understand Torcida's frustration. Should it be aimed at the players? Should it be aimed at the board? Who should it be aimed at? I mean, the players doing their best. Are they not? I don't know. I don't know what the hell's happening at Hajduk, but after 15 years, it's a bit of a disgrace. The European.
It's a tough place to play. You know what I mean? Like Marco Luaya apparently directed the players to go to that part of the ground where the Torcida were to give them a wave and whatever, acknowledge their support. And they just got peppered in flares and boos and whistles and whatever else. And, then made the way to the outer grandstand and got a bit of an ovation, at least from the people in the seated areas.
Yeah.
But it's a tough gig, man. It's very hard to attract players when you see, but it happens at other bigger clubs. I've seen Inter Milan, AC Milan, they get their players to stand in front of their supporters and they get spat on and some big Mrcina with his megaphone yelling abuse at them and shit. And these blokes are paid tens of millions of dollars a year. Perisic had the same when he was at Inter Milan. He just walked straight to the dressing room. All the other players went and copped abuse. Oh, no, it's a tough place to know. They haven't won the league since, 2005-6. The frustration just keeps growing. Every year they think we're going to win it, and every year it's pretty much the same old. But look, they've got 3 wins from 3 in the domestic league. They're out of Europe. They've got no other obligations, cup, whatever. Concentrate in the league.
Well, that was going to be my question, right? So they've come out. They can't beat like a little odd Dinamo from Tirana. I come back and smash Slaven Belupo 3-0. Then we talk about, UEFA, well, I think we're 21st in the rankings of UEFA's leagues or whatever, that we want to get up to 16th or something so that we can get an extra spot or a direct spot into the Champions League and all of that. But do we actually deserve it? Is this an indication of where Croatian football is at? We can't beat Dinamo Tirana, but you're winning convincingly in Croatia against Slaven Belupo, who's not down the bottom by any stretch of the imagination. So, I don't know. You let us know. There's a lot of football experts out there. But
Zrinski Mostar got him.
Zrinski, unbelievable. Though.
Technically, we've got an extra Croatian team in there. It just doesn't add to the coefficient of the Croatia literal, I guess. But Rijeka and Dinamo are both now secured in Europe,
which is fantastic.
If Hajduk had that third spot, it would have meant a lot, or even just another round. Yeah. But what do you do? Maybe just concentrate in the league, try and win one for Christ's sake. But I don't think that Dinamo's too strong. Very, very strong this year.
I think they're going to come back this year. I think this is Dinamo's year. But Zrinski, like you said, Zrinski's always punching above their weight. Actually, you've got to take your hat off to Zrinski Mostar. It's fantastic to watch.
It's bloody amazing. Yeah, it's fantastic. Exactly right.
And even their fans are very passionate. I'd love to go out to Mostar and watch them play there down at Billy Brig. But
there you go, Tommy Gavran. Vedasic, my mum's from next to Letka. There you go. So for all you Tommy Towners, Mr. Tommy Shooter. Well, there's a golf theme. Tommy Gavran, Shooter McGovern. Shooter McGovern. Shooter.
Brishnik, here we go. Melbourne Croatia's greatest player ever, Frank Music.
Frank Music's from Brishnik. Saw him yesterday, straight at when he rocked up at Dinamo. Mr. Music, and it was quite entertaining at Dinamo yesterday afternoon. Actually, there was a couple of boys from outside the Dinamo community. I think they were mates of Rob Jovica from work, and they were very, very entertaining for us there just in front of the social club during the course of the day.
There you go. Peter Fink is asking, what's more important, winning the league or HNL or qualifying for the Conference League?
I think HNL, for Hajduk itself, HNL is, they have to win one soon.
Well, odd question.
They have to win one soon. Europe, and it's a bonus if you can get a game against one of these, like in the old days, you get a Fulham or you get an Everton or whatever, or a Fiorentina or something like that. It's a great atmosphere because Hajduk, they've got a chip on their shoulder. They want to prove that they've got the best choreographies or whatever.
They do.
Show it on a European stage.
No,
that's definite. Ali, it's not all about that. It's about trying to get some results. You want to win a domestic league, for Christ's sakes. 20 years took Niko Kranjčar to come across to win the league. We had Levaja, we had Rakitic, we had Perisic now in the last 2 or 3 years.
Rebic.
Yeah, Rebic. You've got the Ivušić in goals now. You've got Karačić is doing really well, young Aussie.
Karadžic's killing it. Yeah.
Kalik and Skoko are there as well. Yeah. They're doing pretty well. Like Bumba, who got sent off against the Albanian team, scored 2 this morning. So and that didn't help him getting booed and attacked by the crowd, etc. But what do you do? Hajduk, it's you love them or you hate them, but when you do love them, it's bloody hard work.
Look, I'm a Dinamo supporter, but I want Hajduk to do well. I actually want to see Hajduk win the league because it's actually boring. You want to see Hajduk. Hajduk's a massive club. You want to see him win the league, but something's got to give there. Something's wrong. What's wrong? Is it just the players? Is this board? Is it that Nash Hajduk? I don't know. What is it? Someone tell me that someone that's closer to Hajduk. I'm not a Hajduk supporter, but something's definitely wrong.
No, they need to, I think, take a leaf out of the book of Enkai Debeljak, who just absolutely smashed last year to come back into the Prva Županijska Zadarska Liga. A clear 10, 15 points, absolutely demolished. I think they might need to make a call to Ante Campiraja, who's the chief down there, and see what they're doing right, because I'm getting a couple of jerseys now as well. When my sister comes back, they've sent a couple of jerseys, the new season's jerseys for me, so maybe have to replace this old one. But either way, look, Hajduk's tough team to follow. It's the highs and lows in 5 minutes. You get them both. Ali, Dinamo seems to be purring along. That Maksimir, what's it called? The Kranjčar is going to start getting.
Yeah, they've started works there. Look, that's all been demolished, and it looks like they're working hard.
Oh, we forgot to mention Filip Hrgović.
Oh,
the big 19-1. So 19 wins, 1 loss. Thankful to God, my team, family, and to all of you supporting me last night. Respect to my opponent, David Adalea, for putting on a great fight. But Filip Hrgović, again, it looks like he's got 2 belts on him, one around his waist and one over his shoulder. But from what people have been telling me, there's someone here in Melbourne that's very closely related to Filip Hrgovic. We'd love to get him on the show.
Okay.
You know, as a world champion and an
Absolutely.
absolute, but he's a machine. This bloke gets pounded and he still gets up, and he put this bloke on his ass and ended up winning. I think it was a points decision, or I don't know if it was a TKO, but again, a country that just boxes out of all sports. Boxing, kickboxing, MMA, going all the way back. My goodness, you know.
Well, when we get Stipe Miocic on the show, you know, that'll be their last show. It's all downhill.
I have
after that.
messaged Stipe. We haven't heard back. I don't think
We'll get him. I don't know. I believe it. I think. I don't know. I hope so.
There you go. So, Spolj, what do you reckon? We played the Dennis Dumachic.
So Dennis Dumachic. So
interview.
last week, so sorry about the connection last week with Mario Klaric. I really wanted to get into that one, get more in depth and speak to him. He was an absolute gentleman, which so many of you did share and saw yourselves, but wanted to see what life is like as a musician in Croatia and all of these kind of things. But lo and behold, we're live. And that's one of the drawbacks of being live, is you can't battle with the internet. But one interview that we did do, or Arta did anyway, with Albi, which wasn't live, but it was pre-recorded, and thankfully it all worked out, is with Dennis Dumachic. And those of you who don't know who Dennis Dumachic is, he's the lead singer of Leteci Odred, now a permanent member also of Meashi, like you pointed out. Prolific songwriter, absolutely huge on the Croatian scene, written so many tracks, but I'm sure you're going to get into a bit more detail with that interview, and we can talk about after seeing that. I'm hanging out for this one.
Exactly. So they've just played. So he was on holidays when we did the interview. So he was kind enough. Not only did he agree to do an interview, but he was actually on an 8-day vacation at Sveti Filip Jakov down there near Beograd with his family, and he still came on the show, still gave us his time. He reached out. As soon as I messaged him, he was pretty much almost immediately reached back and said, yes, no problem. Let me know how we can do it, when we can do it. And, we got him while he was on holiday in a beautiful part of the world, Filip Jakov, if anyone's ever been down there. Yeah. And he gave us his time, and he told us all about his career and what he's doing currently. So Leteci Odred is still going. So they started off in 91, 92, and they've got 33 years they've been around, 11 studio albums, 15 albums all up. And now as a permanent member of Meashi and their supervisor, or like a mentor, and has written songs for absolutely everyone. If you jump on his bio, you can see he's written songs from Gabi Novak, who just passed away this week, to Michel Kovac, to God knows, he's everybody. And you wouldn't even know. You wouldn't even know he's been the songwriter, but there's a lot of prolific songs out there. Zorica, everyone knows that song Zorica, which I'll play in the interview. 20 million views on YouTube, on just one YouTube. And there's another Meashi song, 22 million views. You know what I mean? It's just outrageous. And he's written and arranged most of those songs. But for tonight, we will leave you with an interview with Dennis Dumachic of Leteci Odred, pre-recorded on Thursday. But on behalf of Spolj and I, Laku Noć, we'll see you all next Monday at 7:30 Australian Eastern Standard Time. No idea who our guests will be. Next week will be Marko Butorac.
Yes.
He has a very important meeting on tonight, as does Stella and a number of other people we're not at liberty to speak about, but there is a very important meeting going on at the moment Marko had to be a part of, and he unfortunately wouldn't even be able to make it via video link. So we said, you know what, we'll leave it for next week, and we'll talk about the potential for a Croatian AFL Hall of Fame. So trying to get together the biggest possible and best and brightest Croatian AFL players or people of Croatian heritage into one Hall of Fame and into one spectacular gala evening at some point in the future. So tune in next week, and we'll let you know if we've got any other guests via our reels and socials, etc. Ali, Laku Noć, thank you to all of our guests. Hopefully you found them all very interesting. We certainly did.
Yeah, we did.
And we all pray for the safety of Savo Gubovac over there currently in Valjevo. I will try and call him after the show and see if he is okay. But enjoy the interview with Dennis Dumachic. It goes for I think it's about 25 odd minutes. So if you're still willing to stay up, many of you stayed up for 4.5 hours, so an extra 10 won't kill you. So here's Dennis Dumachic, pre-recorded on Thursday. Thank you all, and tune in all next week.
Every positive.
Okay, PodroomTV viewers, tonight we have a very special guest. We have recorded an interview with one of the biggest and most prolific Croatian musicians and artists ever to come out of our beloved country, and that is Mr. Dennis Dumachic, who most of you would know as the lead singer of Leteci Odred, who have had some absolutely massive hits that we still sing to this day. And my colleague Rob's not here tonight. We're pre-recording this on Wednesday, but Rob and Major Minor play their songs many, many times at many, many events. And he's also not only a singer of a band that's been around for over 30 years, but he's also a songwriter, and he's written songs for an amazing array of musicians over the years. And most probably popular of all is the song Zorica that you all probably heard Major Minor sing as well. Dennis is an active member of Meashi who played Zorica and any other number of hits. But many of you might know Dennis just by seeing a couple of his photos. He's quite the futzer, as you can see there. Plays the guitar, plays many other instruments. But the one song that no doubt all of you would know, I'll play a little snippet for you before we get stuck in. But let's have a listen. You'd no doubt know the intro.
Sanjao sam moju ružicu.
And there you go. So now our very, very special guest, gospodin Dennis Dumachic. Vama je dobar dan. Ja mislim da je kod vas sada popodne, ovdje je kasno navečer, ali hvala što ste nam se uključili u emisiju i dobro došli.
Hvala lijepo na pozivu, dobro vas našao. Je, ovdje je sada negdje otprilike 3 sata. Vruće je jako i eto, trpimo nekako.
Da, i sad ste malo prije nego što smo počeli sa intervjuom, rekli ste da se nalazite u Svetom Filipu Jakovu, to je tamo dole između Zadra i Biograda. I kako vam se sviđa tamo?
Točno tako. Pa nije da sam prvi put, ali recimo da baš u tom mjestu Filipu Jakovu nisam se nešto zadržavao. Trenutno tu boravimo tjedan dana, 8 dana odmora. Tako, mijenjamo lokacije po Jadranu. Jadran je najbolja morska destinacija, vjerojatno jedna od najboljih sigurno u svijetu, pa koristimo to što smo mi tu domaći.
Baš tako. A kroz ovih 8 dana ili imate koje gaže ili je baš ono odmor? 8 dana nema posla, nema...
Baš je 8 dana odmor jer bio sam sa Meašima 3 dana prije nego što sam krenuo u odmor. Došli smo prošlu srijedu. Ovdje baš svirali smo na Pašmanu preko puta Biograda na moru. Tamo su me dočekale moje žene, supruga i kćer i mali pas i onda su me dofurali ovdje u Filip Jakov i tu se odmaramo, sutra se ide dalje na put za Zagreb i onda krećem petak, subota Meaši i onda nedjelja leteći odred u Virovitici.
Pa non stop, vam je onda 8 dana imate slobodnog i onda 350 i nešto dana u žurki nekoj.
Pa je baš toliko, ali mogu reći da ove godine se sa Meašima puno toga nakupilo, a onda kombiniram. Kad leteći odred sviram, onda ne mogu sa njima, ovo ostatak idem sa Meašima.
Da. A vaša priča je jako zanimljiva jer kao većina naših gledatelja niste rođeni u Hrvatskoj, rođeni ste u Beču, je li tako? I onda od nekih 5-6 godina ste preselili sa obitelji u Belišće.
U Belišće zapravo moji su roditelji sa 7 godina. Oni su htjeli da krenem u školu osnovnu, jer su razmišljali o povratku, Pa tako prve 3 godine me baka čuvala u Belišću, oni su i dalje radili u Beču i moja mlađa sestra je bila s njima i nakon 3 godine su presjekli, odlučili ništa više arbeit vani, nego smo se vratili. I šta ja znam, ne znam šta bi bilo da sam ostao, možda bi me čekala nekakva drugačija karijera, možda slična, možda samo na drugom govornom području, ali s druge strane drago mi je da sam ostao tu jer radim cijeli život ono što volim i nekako imam osjećaj da sam se snašao u tome. Nisam ni najviši, nisam ni najniži, tako da neka ono, ok, mislim, s obzirom koliko sam talentiran, dobro sam i prošao.
Ali baš isto na tom podcastu sam, baš ste rekli da jedan možda stariji kolega je rekao da je jedno, probiti se, ali puno je teže opstati na sceni ili na estradi, je li je tako, ili je to i još dan danas drži vodu, tako da jedno je probiti na 1, 2, 3 pjesme dobre, ali opstati koliko ste i vi opstali sada, koliko već od ovdje piše, ova prva grupa, prva pomoć još 88. godine ili tako nešto, pa onda leteći odred 90-ih, pa sad mejaši, pa kantautorska karijera i to sve. Je li bilo zapravo teško opstati toliko ili ste mislili iz početka, dobro, imamo par dobrih pjesama i dobro, uspio sam?
Pa ta priča počinje od starih kolega koje ja opet ću reći da jako i poštivam, što možda mlađi danas nemaju takav odnos sa nama, starijim. To su stariji govorili, ja sam to upijao, istinu da kažem, nisam baš potpuno vjerovao u to. Naravno, mi ljudi zapravo ništa toliko ne vjerujemo dok ne osjetimo na svojoj koži, jel?
Da.
Tako da trebalo je vremena da uspijemo. Ja sam skroz, naravno, kao mladi čovjek, glazbenik, priželjkivao nešto da mi se dogodi onako da svi da znaju tvoju pjesmu, onda je to uspjeh, jel? I kad mi se to dogodilo, mislio sam bitno je samo to, a onda ćemo lako, jel? Kao kad sam našao nišu u kojoj treba da varim, onda valjda je to. Međutim, istina je ono što kažu stariji kolege, to sam osjetio na svojoj koži, da opstat je još teže. Da i dalje održavaš nekakvu formu i da i dalje budeš zanimljiv, to je ravno onako zgoditku u nekoj lutriji. Jer dolaze nove generacije, trendovi se mijenjaju, svaka generacija nosi neku svoju priču i tako da vjerujem debelo u to, da ono što mi pišemo, pisat ćemo vjerojatno cijeli život tako, a vremena se mijenjaju, pa onda u tom smislu, kako bi rekao, vrlo je, osjećam nekakvu pobjedu ako još uvijek možemo opstati, jel? S ovim što radim. I danas, ne?
Tako. I koliko sad sve ukupno, koliko vidimo ovdje, 15 albuma sa letećim odredom, je li ste izdali sve skupa, koliko 11 u studiju i još nešto live i slično, je li tako?
Tako je, da. Imamo 11 studijskih albuma, jedan je live iz Doma sportova i 3 su kompilacije. Kad izdavačka kuća izabere neke najbolje vaše pjesme.
Ima ih, hvala Bogu, dosta za možda još toliko albuma izdati, ja mislim, kompilacijski.
Jedan od tih je dupli, tako da ne znam kako bi brojao, ispada 15.
Da. Ali vidimo ovdje isto sada, osim letećeg odreda, vidimo ovdje da se surađivali, ima tu imena, Danijela Martinović, Masimo Savić, Željko Bebek, Boris Novković, Ivana Banfić, ovo su isto jer ja sam 90-ih nekoliko godina proveo u Hrvatskoj isto, tako da sam ja odrastao s tom glazbom. Grupa Teens, Mate Bulić, Vinko Coce pokojni, Prva liga, Crvena jabuka, Maja Šuput, Lidija Bačić, čovječe. I sve skupa ovdje, ja mislim ovo je sa ove stranice HDS, piše da imaš sve ukupno nekih 340 pjesama u kojim si ti ili napisao ili otpjevao.
Autor, da. Ne kao autor se broji, manje sam otpjevao, više sam napravio pjesama nego što sam otpjevao. Da. Pisao za druge, jel? Samo jedno niste, možda i najvažnije ime, da nije leteći odred spomenuo, to su mejaši, to je moja ekipa, ja sam s njima od početka i za njih sam napisao 90% pjesama, a sami početci su dakako moji, od Zorice, zavela me Ana, 5-6 piva, bolji nego ikad, zapjevam onu našu i tako dalje. Ne,
Da, vidim sad, malo prije sam baš gledao na YouTube Zorica, ja mislim da ima samo na jednoj stranici 20 milijuna pregleda, ja mislim, samo na jednoj pjesmi. To je svjetsko.
Da, a Zavela Majana ima 22. Preko
22.
22 miliona.
A ja i kolega Robert smo napisali jednu, ja mislim da ima 25.000, pa mi smo jako zadovoljni.
Super. Ma dobro, danas ja mislim da YouTube više ni nije ta neki mreža koju pristupaju pa gledaju, više su mladi na Deezeru, Spotifyu i tako dalje. To je razlog zašto ja sviram sa Mejašima, jer sam od početka s njima i uvijek je to bilo nešto da sam ja sa strane pišem pjesme i pošto sam dosta stariji od njih, iskusniji, onda sam bio i taj neki mentor i ona produžena ruka kad se mora raspravljati s nekim i tako.
Da, ovdje piše ne samo da ste član, nego da ste supervizor ili supervisor i ovdje piše na toj stranici.
Pa
tako da,
to je bio taj početak, da, to i govorim. Jel?
Da.
Mi se kretali, oni su bili vrlo mladi, oni su danas sa 35 godina ipak već svoji ljudi, jel? Tako da moram biti više taj mentor, ali taj duh ostaje. Ne? Ali eto, u međuvremenu na zadnjih 3 godine mi se učinilo da se priključim na svirke njihove, jer sam doveo gitaru sa onim malo rockerskim momentom, tako da smo malo proširili zvuk i skužili smo da smo malo širi još u izvođenju i zabavniji kad nas ima toliko, pa nešto zasiramo.
Da. Sad, oni su bili na turneji ovdje u Australiji, jeste vi onda bili s njima? Niste? Jel imate želju proći malo ovdje do juga malo?
Imam jaku želju, ali jaki je i strah od letenja. Tako da to je bila prepreka. Ni u Kanadu nisam išao, išli su 4-5 puta, ne znam, u Australiju 2 ili 3, nisam sad brojao, ali svaki put je bilo premišljanja, ali uvijek je presudilo to da je strah veći od želje.
Možda vas prođe strah jedan dan, voljeli bi vas vidjeti ovdje nego išta.
Ja bi isto volio, jako mi kad to malo dublje razmišljam o tome, onda mi je stvarno krivo i žao što eto takav ima
Da. A kolega Robert me isto baš pita za tu pjesmu Zorica, kako je došlo do te pjesme sada, je li je to zbog gospođe koja je malo prije bila isto na ekranu ili je...
Ma nije, mi se uvijek zezamo, to je neki dodatni još PR, kad čovjek vidi da je nešto uspjelo pa ima taka neka sličnost, jel? Ja sam tu pjesmu dugo nosio samo sa onim stikom a u zoru Zorica me budi. Skroz mi je to bilo zanimljivo i nikako nisam mogao da se raširim, da napravim pjesmu. I tako je to prošlo možda i sa tim samim stihom možda i neke 2 godine. Dok ja nisam ubrao mog prijatelja Faju i rekao sad ćemo napraviti stvar. I stvarno je izgledalo. Doduše, imao sam taj neki tu temu. I onda sam skužio da to mora biti neka pjesma urnebes, neki
Da.
Tako da, kad sam skužio gdje treba ići pjesma i kako bi trebala zazvučati, onda je nastala za jednu večer. A to u zoru Zorica me budi sam nosio u sebi 2 godine sigurno. Pa Zorica, Zora, budimo se, moja žena se zove Zorica, pa smo onda rekli, evo vidiš, jednom mi je prilikom rekla, ja nikad neću imati pjesmu, pitam zašto, pa zašto moje ime ne zvuči lirski, pa neće biti taka neka ljepota. Pa sam rekao, može biti ludorija, pa evo vidiš, nastala je.
A i rekli ste na onom podcastu isto da vi jednostavno znate kad napišete pjesmu ili aranžman neki napravite da kao da znate da će biti ili hit ili će totalno suprotno biti, ali da imate onaj osjećaj jednostavno da kad napišete nešto da znate da ovo bi moglo biti prava stvar, je li tako?
Nije, to se odnosi samo na Zoricu, to je bila priča, vrlo iskreno sam to rekao, da kad sam završio tu stvar, da ona ima nešto strašno u sebi izazovno, ali istovremeno može biti kontroverzna. Ja ne znam kako je u to vrijeme duh ljudi koji hoda i kako je to raspoloženje koje može možda navući nekakvi kontraefekt, ali ne može biti u sredini nikako ta pjesma. Ta pjesma, da sam rekao, ili će biti potpuno ludilo ili će posrat svi, ono. Tako da imali smo sreću da su svi pozitivno reagirali i ja ne znam, rijetko se to događa da pjesma u mjesec dana postane apsolutno hit. To se vidjelo svakim danom, ono, da to počinje biti ludilo i tako da, evo, imam tu sreću. Mislim, to se ne događa sa ostalim pjesmama. Mislim, mi autori svaki put kad napišemo nešto, kad smo već došli do kraja, imamo osjećaj da je to nešto dobro već. Kad smo došli već do kraja. Ima pjesma koje neću nikad završiti jer negdje sam zaribao i ne mogu se iščupati, nije mi više zanimljivo. Ove pjesme koje završiš, očekuješ da će se nešto dogoditi, a to nije baš uvijek slučaj. A postoje opet rijetke pjesme kao što je bila i Sanjao sam moju ružicu, ovu koju ste pustili samo intro u prilogu vašem. Ta pjesma je isto jako brzo. Možda iz tog iskustva sam vukao, pa sam dečkima pričao iskustvo kad sam skužio Zorica šta ima u sebi, ili će pobijediti totalno ili ništa neće biti. Tako da, evo, imali smo tu sreću. A onda kad smo našli taj džir, šta bi trebalo biti, onda sam ja cijelo vrijeme zapravo u to upirao da bude to neko, da bude tamburaška, a da bude moderna, da bude neko ludilo u svemu tome, da bude zabavna, da se ljudi, da izaziva neko pozitivno raspoloženje, jel?
Da. I bome je odludilo kad se ovdje svira isto na našim, ili bila zabava, ili koncert, ili neki nogometni turnir gdje se svi okupimo, kad se ta pusti, onda i mlado i staro, sve, nema tu, ne pita godišnja doba, nego samo digni se na noge i udri.
Drago mi je zbog toga.
Da. A meni jedna jako, jako draga pjesma, isto malo prije sam je slušao, Tragovi. Sad, je li oni još sviraju ili još?
Mi ne surađujemo više tako glazbeno, navodno, pa i onda ne viđamo se nešto, ali navodno da oni nešto tako imaju neki studio pa nešto sviraju. Ja nisam dugo čuo ništa od pjesama.
Ja mislim sve na ljubav miriše. To je meni jedna jako isto jaka pjesma. Stvarno je.
To je prva koju sam napravio kad sam počeo raditi sa njima i to je bila vrlo isto ovako od njihove strane ideja da im isto budem supervizor i da to, ali ne znam, negdje smo se po putu izgubili, tako da nije završen. Došli smo do kraja prvog albuma, ali nismo ga nikad izdali. Tako da, krivo mi je zbog toga, ali opet, s druge strane, mislim da u životu se sve događa sa nekakvim razlogom. Eto, ja sam s Mejašima ostao dan danas i valjda je to da smo se skužili, da smo na istoj nekakvoj i ljudskoj i profesionalnoj nekoj sličnim valovima, jel?
Da, baš tako.
A to ako se ne dogodi sa ljudima, onda ne može. Teško je onda to raditi. Ako na istom nekakvom, jel?
Da, baš tako. Dobro, još samo da vidim, bio sam zapisao neke još bilješke, ovdje i Robert mi je posla poruku, jer inače mi ovo emitiramo ponedjeljkom navečer, ali danas je srijeda, tako da pitao sam ga li ima on koje pitanje, a isto tako što je pitao, jer on isto svira u jednoj grupi ovdje koja traje već 30 plus godina, je li jedna od najpoznatijih hrvatskih grupa ovdje u Melbourneu i po čitavoj Australiji. Pita je li se može živjeti od glazbe u Hrvatskoj ili kao nekad isto čitamo, čujemo, pratimo vijesti i to, neki kažu da više zarade možda od svatova ili od fešta i šta ja znam, radije nego od same glazbe, od albuma, od studijskih i tako. Je li se, je li ide...
Ne znam, ja sam imao sreću tu da mogu od toga živjeti, ali vjerojatno tome mi puno pridonosi to što sam autor, jel? pa sam puno
Da,
pjesama
da.
napisao. Pokušavam vam dočarati malo ovdje nama, vama Hrvatsku, evo tu na moru.
Da, da.
Ne znam jeste vi.
Bio sam ja, isto se igrao sa nogometu u Filipijakovu, ali pome koja slika i vruće, kažete, i sestra, sad sam sestrom priča, isto ona je momentalno nedaleko od vas, možda 5-6 km dalje od vas, ona je prvi put u 39 godina tamo i kaže da u ponedjeljak da nije mogla disati koliko je vruće bilo i da je stvarno toplo.
Ali, kako bi rekao, trpimo, nije loše. Pa, na ovo pitanje nisam uspio možda do kraja reći, mislim, da li se može živjeti, ovisi, ne mogu svi, nije to teško, nije baš lako pitanje. Kažem, ne znam, svadbi da li više. Evo recimo primjer Mejaša. Mejaši su zapravo prošli ok, zato što imaju tako zabavnu muziku, imali su par ekstra pjesama za koje svi znaju pa ih mogu tako povezati i uvijek daju odličnu zabavu. Tako da je to band koji najčešće se zove i znaš bit će zabavno, pa eto, to ti je ulazna karta. To bi reklo da eto, nešto valjda se može živjeti.
Da. Dobro, gospodine Denis Dumačić, najljepša vam hvala. Stvarno, kad smo se sprijateljili na Instagram, ja sam vam poslao poruku i vi ste se jako brzo javili i rekli nema problema, uključit ću se u emisiju. Mi smo tek isto počeli, ima možda tek 2 mjeseca, ali radimo to da bi pokazali ono nešto malo neobično, jer možemo ovdje o nogometu pričati svaki dan, a nije sve o nogometu, nego ima puno toga, tako da glazba je meni jako draga, vidite ovdje ima ni gusle, ima ni tambure, ima mandoline, ima svega, svačega, ove cvitare, ja ne znam kako se zovu u Slavoniji, ali jako nam je drago što ste nam se priključili, voljeli bi da vas prođe taj strah i da jedan dan se možete uživo pridružiti s nama ovdje doli, i kad je kod nas toplo, danas je jako hladno ovdje u Melbourneu, čovječe, ja mislim da će biti noćas ili 3 ili 4, nije ono, možda za vaše prilike toliko hladno, ali kod nas je jako hladno, tako da možda ako ćete organizirati, ako vas to sve prođe u prvom, u 12. ili u prvom mjesecu dođete tamo, onda je taman.
Dobro, ja se isto nadam, evo, da će biti prilike. I na pozivu, još jednom da smo se čuli ovako.
Hvala vama, veliki pozdrav, trpite i dalje u Filipijakovu, tamo vidim tako kako vam je kroz prozor jako lijepo, pa mi ćemo isto trpiti ovdje koliko možemo, ali uživajte sa obitelji. Imate feštu, ako hoćete, nije daleko Sukošan, isto Sukošan, Debeljak, danas je njima fešta, pa bacite gori džir malo dalje prema Zadru i možete i tamo obići, ali stvarno vam najljepša hvala od srca i od naših gledatelja. Hvala vam, nadamo se da ćemo se vidjeti ovdje, ako ne, ko zna, sljedeće ljeto, ako budemo bacili džir, vidit ćemo se možda i tamo uživo jedan put.
Hvala još jednom na pozivu, pozdrav vama, veliki, i vašim gledateljima, nadam se da ćete uspjeti u ovom svom poduhvatu i da širite našu hrvatsku riječ i nekakav našu atmosferu koju imam.
Može. Najljepša hvala, veliki pozdrav od sviju nas i uživajte i dalje i nastavite s radom koliko god možete. Uživamo u svakoj pjesmi.
Hvala vam, pozdrav lijepi iz Hrvatske. Laku noć.
There you go, Mr. Dennis Dumachic, lead singer of Leteći Odred for well over 30 years, permanent member of Mejaši, and also writes pretty much all of their songs. And like you heard there, there's some of their songs on YouTube have had over 20 million views. So these aren't small songs. These aren't just little backyard tunes. They are massive hits, and everyone knows Zorica when we play it, when Spolz plays it at Tornies, Zabave, etc. It's absolutely amazing bloke who has that longevity of career. Reached out straight away as soon as we became friends on Instagram. Couldn't believe it. He said, "Yeah, I'm happy to come on," and we were absolutely rapt that he has. Hopefully you enjoyed the interview. Again, we had a little bit of that audio issue at the end. It seems when people move their mobile phones overseas, it starts to crackle a little bit. But for the most part, hopefully it was a good interview. You enjoyed it, and we'd love to see him here in Australia. But like I said, he's a little bit scared of flying. But Miyashi have been here multiple times and all over. But before I wrap up, I will play just a little clip also of that song Zorica. If you haven't heard it, I'm sure as soon as that, or well, if you've forgotten it, or you may not know what it is, as soon as you hear that opening tune and the chorus, you will know exactly what that song is. So here's a live version of Zorica by Miyashi.
Svi da kažu nije za mene, opet nju odabrao bi, a mjesec suduje pa malo zažmiri kad joj dođe, da niko ne vidi. A u zoru Zorica me budi, opat cijelu noć je bilo, i slatko nije kad se tajno ljubi, a meni slatko ne bi bilo da se nije krilo. Zorica me budi, opat cijelu noć je bilo, i slatko nije kad se tajno ljubi, a meni slatko ne bi bilo da se nije krilo. Afrika, na paprika, i Zorica.
Kad zapjevam partija mi sudi, neka sudi, pjevat će